In Metropolis, a group of thieves flee to a helicopter. They are suddenly attacked by Superman. Thinking this is just another routine crime, the Man of Steel gives these criminals one chance to surrender. However, one of the crew panics and fires his gun. The Man of Steel falls to the ground, lifeless. It all began when Waller recruited a new villain into Task Force X named John Starr, or the Time Commander. Waller revived Time Commander after he passed away through the use of his own hourglass device, and hopes to do the same with a being called Failsafe. She explains that Failsafe was created by Batman to eliminate the Dark Knight with extreme prejudice should he ever turn dark. It wound up being possessed by an evil iteration of Batman's own personality, going rogue and even obtaining a number of powerful new Amazo robots. It took many of Batman's allies to destroy Failsafe, but Waller now needs this machine for her vision of the future. Time Commander consents to the repairs, knowing he has no real choice, but stalls his repair process for 5 days in an attempt to best Waller. While doing so, he peeks into the future to see what Amanda is planning, and realizes his only chance of surviving what is to come, and what this woman is capable of, is to escape. John Starr succeeds at warping himself through time through some device he manages to steal, but on traveling he finds himself only 5 days in the past and locked in one of Amanda's cells, literally right back where he started. Realizing Amanda has truly bested him, he is out of options, and John Starr finally repairs Failsafe. However, once he does so, rather than let him go, a happy Amanda Waller announces they are just getting started. At the site of what was once the Hall of Justice, now renamed the Hall of Order, Dylan Moore, also known as Haywire, stands before the Clock King and the now restored Failsafe. Though Dylan is intimidated by all of this, Clock King reassures Haywire that the man is not in trouble, and his days in prison are now behind him. As they walk through the Hall of Order, Clock King points out Amanda Waller to his companion. He explains that she is in charge of this place as the public face of the new Bureau of Sovereignty. The group was formed after Beast Boy's powers were inadvertently unleashed upon the Earth during the Beast World event, and after a couple of other similar recent disasters, including a recent invasion of Amazon warriors. With the world on edge and its relationship with the superheroes tenuous at best, Amanda Waller has been given a wide range of powers and authority from the government here, and is making big plans for the future. Clock King speaks of Waller's past, how at a young age she was widowed in an event that she blames superheroes for, but has never spoken about it much publicly. He knows Dylan would have heard of her thanks to her infamous actions running Task Force X over the years, the Black Ops unit formed entirely of imprisoned supervillains. Clock King also reveals that in recent months she has quietly taken financial control and ownership over most privately owned supervillain prisons, giving the woman a now endless supply of superpowered criminals for Task Force X. As they continue their tour, Dylan is surprised to see Green Arrow in their midst, but Clock King reassures him that the hero is working with them. They briefly watch Queen and Waller working on some sort of mysterious grand project. After, Amanda Waller and Failsafe ask Haywire to demonstrate his powers in a special chamber so they can measure what he's capable of. When he complies, it is then revealed they are actually testing out a mysterious device that attempts to absorb Dylan's powers. The experiment, however, fails, and the young man experiences a painful death. This was their fourth failed attempt to get this power-draining machine to work, but Amanda Waller simply states that they will have to keep trying until it does work, no matter how many villains they have to kill, because this is an essential part of her plans. Waller then approaches a metahuman named Dreamer, and demands to know if what she has in store for the world will actually work. Dreamer uses her precognitive powers to look into the future, and claims she can see nothing. Though Waller knows the young woman is lying, she is interrupted by Failsafe before Amanda can press the issue further. Failsafe announces an alien starship is entering Earth's atmosphere, and based on the readings, it has everything Waller is looking for. Excited, Amanda seeks it out. Waller and her troops arrive at the alien crash site and find a strange being getting out of the craft. Failsafe recognizes what emerges as some sort of creation of brainiacs, but determines that its databanks have been wiped clean. Waller realizes the finding is a powerful creation called the Brainiac Queen. Yet, with no memory or programming to her, Amanda realizes she can control and manipulate this queen entirely. Amanda orders her people to move quickly, not wanting anyone else to find her new discovery. Using virtual reality technology, Waller then spends 20 hours raising this new Brainiac creation in a relativistic time span of 20 years. During this time, she teaches this new Brainiac to trust Waller, and to fight against simulated versions of Earth's superheroes who would periodically attack their home. After the session is complete, the Brainiac Queen emerges, all too eager to work with Waller to save the world.
Those who would hurt us with power do not deserve it.
On the island nation of Gamora, Jay Nakamura races away from some gunfire. He only came here to visit his family when Amanda Waller had Dreamer overthrow the government, killing the president, who just so happened to be Jay's mother. Jay is shot in the ankle by Dreamer's team, as she has been ordered to bring in the young man. She captures him, explaining to Nakamura later in prison that she had no choice in the matter. Waller has Dreamer's family held hostage, but that is not reason enough to assuage Jay's grief-filled rage at having just lost his mother. Privately, Dreamer angrily notes to herself that Amanda Waller's system of blackmail and hostage-taking won't last forever, and remains focused on just keeping her family alive, for now. A memo is sent from the Hall of Order to the President of the United States. Today is the day. Today, humanity triumphs. In Keystone City, Animal Man and Animal Girl are violently attacked by a mob of civilians. They, along with the rest of the world, have seen hours of fake footage online that depicts superheroes attacking and killing civilians or abandoning them during disasters. Around the world, superheroes rally in response, knowing they are innocent and having seen obvious flaws in the fake videos that confirm these are entirely the works of some powerful AI network. In the hours that follow, many heroes are hospitalized as Americans turn on them, but unfortunately the superheroes are slow to organize a coordinated response, due to the Justice League having relatively recently broken up. At the Daily Planet, editor Lois Lane is pressured into publishing stories on the fake videos, even though they know they aren't real, as other media organizations are reporting on the footage without bothering to verify the authenticity or question it whatsoever. Lois is then informed by Jimmy that somebody has hacked into their website and is now also publishing the stories anyways. Lois is deeply troubled that something this organized has appeared overnight and wonders who could be responsible. At the Hall of Order, Sarge Steele, Waller's second in command, questions whether what Amanda is doing is necessary or even falls within their mission parameters. Waller brushes off these concerns, insisting she is merely showing the world just how dangerous superheroes really are. She is feeling confident, talking of how easy it was to use the internet and media to create this narrative, instilling this doubt in people that exists so much they no longer believe their own eyes, ears, and experiences. Under such circumstances, it doesn't really matter how many people Superman saves. She has accomplished all of this through the Brainiac Queen, who has essentially taken over how the entire human race is processing the news and information of the world around them. Despite the best efforts of both Cyborg and Oracle, neither of them are able to contain the Brainiac Queen online. Barba realizes they are dealing with some sort of alien threat, and is completely unable to get control over the rapidly spiraling situation. The rest of the superheroes have hit the streets, trying to save as many people as they can to counteract the online narrative. These heroes start to form small groups around the world so they can watch each other's back. It is then, however, that Superman is shot. Connor and John Kent hear the gunfire and manage to save Clark from falling down, but suddenly, the other two Kryptonians lose their powers too, and all three come crashing into the streets. It is at that moment that the deepfake footage suddenly stops being posted online. Instead, a broadcast is set around the world from the Hall of Order. Amanda Waller introduces herself to the public. She claims she is horrified by what she is seeing online, but reassures her world that they don't have to be afraid anymore. Waller has come up with the ultimate solution to superpowered disasters, and that solution has already been deployed. Batman and Mr. Terrific are frightened at this broadcast, as they both know Waller wouldn't make a big play like this, unless she thinks she's already won. Batman realizes too late that Amanda wanted to lure the heroes out into the streets with her AI videos. It is at that moment that 6 modern and highly upgraded Amazo androids, all led by Failsafe, as a new robotic team dubbed Task Force 7 attacks the superheroes and begins stealing their powers. Through the Amazos, Failsafe speaks to the heroes of Earth, demanding their immediate surrender. Fighting them is pointless, as the Amazos are built to permanently steal the powers of all metahumans. Meanwhile, those that rely on technology find their devices suddenly drained of power, while beings like the Spectre disappear from the world entirely. Batman orders all superheroes to retreat immediately and go into hiding, as he knows Amanda is trying to rush and capture and depower as many superheroes as she can before any of them have a chance to react. Around the world, hundreds of superheroes are taken into custody in short order as the depowered heroes are completely overrun by Task Force 7. When Batman reaches out to Green Arrow, Oliver reveals he's working with Amanda Waller. Queen warns Bruce that the Bureau knows everything and they're coming for all of them. He explains that nobody is coming to help. Waller has made deals with the United Planets. Earth has been cut off from the rest of the universe, and the time stream, multiverse, and microverse have also been sealed away. There is no escape, there is no exit, there is no hope. Worse still, there is no return mechanism built into the Amazos. Everyone's superpowers are gone forever. In Metropolis, Superman still hasn't moved since he was shot. John Kent calls out for his father helplessly as he is dragged away by Waller's forces. On Gamora Island, superheroes are led into a new prison built by Waller here after a successful coup of the island nation. They are all to be locked away for good, with no chance of release or even a trial. Elsewhere, John Kent wakes up paralyzed, covered in wires, and Brainiac technology. Failsafe reports to Amanda Waller that Task Force 7 was able to successfully capture over 80% of their targets. When the Brainiac Queen suggests they go after the remaining heroes' families to lure the rest back out into the open, Amanda flatly denies the suggestion. The whole point of this was to protect ordinary human civilians like those people. Instead, she has her own plans for what comes next. At the Fortress of Solitude, a small gathering of heroes have managed to escape Waller's clutches and have gathered here to plan their next move. Superman was recovered from his shooting, and his friends have put him in his black containment suit so the Man of Steel can heal from his wounds. But he still has no powers. Kal-El despairs at the knowledge that Amanda likely has captured John, but Batman tries to reassure him that they don't know that for sure. Communication with the other superheroes still free out there in the world is spotty at best. They have lost contact with Cyborg completely and are relying on Oracle to do what she can from Gotham, but the Brainiac Queen is keeping her boxed in. Most of the superheroes gathered here who have escaped have also still lost their powers. Mr. Terrific, Aquaman, and Batman start to squabble over leadership of the gathered heroes, and Wonder Woman despairs at their choice to have disbanded the Justice League recently, as communication is clearly breaking down among these stressed and frustrated survivors. Nightwing makes a speech stating that Waller has made a vital mistake. Superpowers and special devices aren't what drive these heroes to do what they do, and it certainly won't stop them from fighting. As he speaks, Batman watches on proudly, for it is clear who the new leader will be. Nightwing decides to split those that remain into small teams, with the Titans running cover for them since most of his team still has their superpowers. Since Batman deduces Amanda Waller must be using a mother box to enable this incredible power grab, he orders the Dark Knight to go and find it. Superman and Zatanna are tasked with finding a way back into the multiverse since it is full of potential allies. Black Canary is ordered to put together a team to find and track down Green Arrow for some answers. And finally, Wonder Woman is tasked with finding the superhero prisoners and freeing them, with Robin insisting on going with her. With everyone's orders in place, Superman explains that the Fortress of Solitude is impregnable and full of weapons the Man of Steel has confiscated from villains over the years. Arming themselves with said devices, along with tactical suits Batman and Superman had designed a while back, the heroes feel a moment of optimism. Mr. Terrific even comes up with a plan of his own to build a makeshift portal, recruiting Blue Beetle and a young superhero named Airwave, who can turn himself into radio waves thanks to his suit. And luckily said suit still seems to be working. Suddenly, Queen Brainiac and a now cybernetic John Kent blast their way into the Fortress of Solitude. A stunned Superman can only cry out in horror as his son coldly attacks the group. Even more superheroes are captured and teleported away to Waller's prison. Dreamer manages to even slip in one of the Amazo androids during the fight, using her powers, and the machine is able to absorb the abilities of the Titans. One of the heroes does damage to the Amazo, at which point it is revealed a new power has been given to them by the Time Commander. The Amazos can reverse any damage to them through the use of a built-in time travel device that will simply revert their bodies back in time to a point before they were damaged. Meanwhile, Mr. Terrific hastily attempts to assemble the portal. John, who has been largely silent up until this point, speaks to his father, begging for help. But this was all a ruse, and the younger Kent attempts to convert Superman into a cyborg as well. Riding a motorcycle, a depowered Wally West is able to save Superman by dragging John Kent away. In desperation, Aquaman breaks open the bottle city of Kandor, and thousands of tiny but fully powered Kryptonians swarm Queen Brainiac. She's able to quite easily resist this, however, by emitting some red sun energy that weakens the people of Kandor. Mr. Terrific manages to activate the portal, and those that can are able to flee. Desperate and angry, Superman turns to his last resort before he goes. Identifier, Kal-El. Enact Protocol 0. Initiate self-destruct! Brainiac Queen grabs Superman before he can flee. He is only saved at the literal last second by Dreamer, who sacrifices herself so the Man of Steel can escape. Amidst the ruins of the Fortress of Solitude, John comes to his senses. He calls out for his father and struggles to grapple with what he has done. Behind him, the Brainiac Queen grabs the young man and reasserts her control over the son of Superman. Back at the Hall of Order, Oliver Queen has been ordered to go through the weapons confiscated from the Justice League archives, as he's the only one who knows what half of these devices are capable of. Oliver finds a mysterious hourglass and states, "Time's up." On Gamora, Failsafe reports to Waller that they have captured almost all of the heroes and villains the Bureau was targeting. The few dozen heroes that escape the Fortress of Solitude arrive on Themyscira, thanks to Mr. Terrific's teleporter. The magic of the island should at least provide them a moment of safety from Waller, though the situation is tense with the Amazonians, who were already fugitives under US law before all of this started. Many of the heroes begin to argue, as they have lost even more of their numbers in the last attack. Others, like Airwave, lost their equipment while fleeing the fortress. Some, like Big Barda, want to use some kryptonite they recovered from Superman's headquarters to kill John Kent, though Nightwing is quick to shut that possibility down, insisting he and Mr. Terrific have a plan on that front. Grayson explains to everyone that the teams have already been dispatched with the missions he came up with earlier. Additionally, Hal Jordan was able to bring an entire armory of Justice League weaponry to the island, so the remaining heroes are to prepare for the last thing Waller will expect right now, a counterattack. Wally and Hal are dispatched to raid Waller's Hall of Order and find anything stored there that might prove useful. Aquaman is to lead another team to get a hold of a villain called the Time Commander that Batman is certain is an essential part of Waller's plans. Donna Troy will keep a small team behind to defend the island, and finally Nightwing leads everyone else in finding anyone else out there in the world still free from Waller's custody. Over in China, officials prepare a response after Waller captures their superhero team, the Great Ten. Failsafe arrives on the scene as they do this and announces that Amanda Waller has just disavowed the US government and no longer answers to them. Her newly dubbed Ministry of Order is now a world power unto itself, and any further negotiations must be directly with them. Failsafe reassures the Chinese government they intend no hostility against the rest of the world. They are simply detaining and depowering all metahumans, regardless of their nationality. Waller views them as more of a danger than they are worth, and cause disasters on a greater scale and magnitude than what would occur without them. When the Chinese government threatened Failsafe, the mechanical being replies that Brainiac Queen has already downloaded every secret there and every other world government has. With that in mind, he aggressively demands no response from China other than a letter of gratitude for their work. Amanda then contacts Failsafe, concerned that Task Force 7 is starting to operate at reduced capacity. Reviewing his Hive network, Failsafe realizes the Amazo robots have absorbed small traces of the heroes' personalities. Failsafe determines that a partial reboot will be necessary to fix this and initializes it promptly. Around the world, for a brief moment, the Amazos experience a partial reboot of their system. Barry Allen, the last remaining speedster still with powers, has been chased down by the Amazo that absorbed the rest of the Flash family up until this point. Thanks to the reboot, he finally gets a moment of reprieve. It is then that a mysterious voice reaches out to Barry and suggests that Allen go to the basement of Amanda's Gamoran prison complex. The stranger doesn't say much, but does tell Barry that doing so could save the world. At sea, Aquaman's team is able to subdue a cybernetically controlled Bizarro through the use of the Black Mercy plant. Using other items obtained by the Justice League over the years, they work their way through a military ship and break out the Time Commander. Sadly, during the raid, Red Tornado is shot in the head and stops functioning. Blue Beetle manages to grab Tornado's remains, and the heroes flee back through the portal with Time Commander. Back on Themyscira, Aquaman talks with Airwave for a moment. The young hero essentially feels useless without his gear. Looking out into the ocean, he and Arthur share a real heart-to-heart, as Aquaman offers some sincere reassurances. These heroes once again get to feel a moment of reprieve, though such moments seem to only ever last for a brief moment under Waller's new regime. Once again, Brainiac Queen and John Kent have found their way into another superhero hideout, and once again, they ruthlessly press their advantage. As the Amazonian population begins to be captured by these two, Big Barda disregards Nightwing's orders and readies a sniper rifle equipped with a kryptonite bullet, only for Nightwing to attack her. Revealing he and Terrific have been keeping a secret together, not wanting to risk it being picked up by superheroing, Grayson gets John's attention. The cybernetic Superman is on Nightwing in the blink of an eye, but in doing so, a trap is sprung. Stepping foot on the island uninvited triggers the magic of Themyscira, which was arranged to purge all Brainiac circuitry from John's Kryptonian system. The Brainiac Queen tries to stop the process, but it is at that point that Batman returns to the island with Waller's mother box. With the powerful New God device, Batman is able to warp the Brainiac Queen to Pluto, while John Kent is restored to himself just as Superman returns from his journey with Zatanna and the others on his team. A reunited father and son warmly embrace. As most of the other teams return, Zatanna reports to Grayson that she and Superman have found something called the Dark Paths, a mystical means of travel that will allow them to go anywhere. Wally shows Nightwing a lot of helpful schematics and maps he and Hal found, and says they found even more potentially useful things in the Hall of Order. Meanwhile, Batman interrogates the Time Commander, having determined this villain is the only way they can get everyone else their powers back. Deep in the basement of the Supermax prison on Gamora, Barry finds a portal, and worse still, a map he had been working on of the multiverse. Alan realizes that Waller is using this to build an army of alternate universe villains, just as a group of villainous speedsters from the multiverse attack him. Elsewhere on the island, Waller slaps Green Arrow, outraged at his decision to pull back all her forces to the island. He explains that he did this in response to one of the Amazos going missing, John Kent breaking free, Brainiac Queen being stranded across the solar system, and finally Wonder Woman and Robin successfully breaking the heroes out of the Supermax prison. Based on these events, Oliver knows his old friends well enough that he is certain they will be feeling confident and are planning a final attack on Waller's headquarters here. He felt it essential for Waller to gather all their forces in preparation for that final battle. Waller smiles at this. With the remaining members of Task Force 7, the Multiversal Gate, and many soldiers armed with weapons from the Justice League Armory, she is certain the heroes will bungle this last, desperate gambit. In the dark roads, Wonder Woman and Robin report to the others that thanks to Steve Trevor, they were able to free every single superhero Waller had imprisoned, and even managed to leave the villains in custody. Half of those rescued are too wounded to fight, and none of them have their powers or gear. But still, this bolsters their chances against Waller, at least a little. Batman has an idea on how to neutralize the Amazos, and with the plans found by Wally and Hal, the heroes figure they at least have a chance. Jordan and Wes even have one little bit of extra good news. They found Hal's power ring. Listen up, people! Amanda's not the only one who trades in shock and awe. Tonight, we take back what's ours. Not for us, but for a world that depends on us. I won't lie, the odds are not in our favor, and we may not survive. But there is no other path. Batman, it's time to bring the thunder.
We're at 360 around the perimeter. Stand ready.
Go! 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 As the battle begins, Sarge Steel begins to almost relax. The superheroes are so badly outgunned, it's almost tragic. Suddenly, however, the soldiers' weapons begin to malfunction. Amanda Waller calls out to Green Arrow, who was in charge of these armaments, demanding an explanation. But the hero is nowhere to be found. Underground, Barry Allen is swarmed by 3 evil speedsters. They attempt to open the portal and unleash Waller's multiversal army. As they begin to break through, Hal Jordan joins the fray. His arrival proves distracting enough that Barry takes out the speedsters, while Hal creates a barrier around the portal. Their success is only temporary though. The multiversal army is impossibly strong. Barry barely recognizes the portal technology being used here, and quickly tries to find a way to shut it down. Outside, John Kent and Nightwing charge ahead as the others engage in the battle below. Though the heroes on the ground make real progress with Amanda's regular troops, and even manage to knock out Sarge Steel, it is then that Task Force 7 arrives on the scene. Inside, Nightwing and John confront Waller, but Failsafe grabs Nightwing while Waller easily overpowers John with a small piece of kryptonite. She mocks the 2 young men, calling them amateurs and stating the world will be turning over a new leaf after today. Elsewhere, Batman, Time Commander, and Blue Beetle prepare their next big move. Batman recognized John Starr's technology the moment that the Amazo robots began healing themselves through time travel. With some tinkering, they've altered one of his hourglasses so they can revert the Amazo robots back to their original state before they stole all their superpowers, which should return everyone else back to normal. Batman takes the hourglass, but is badly injured by one of the Amazos before he can use it. Back underground, Hal Jordan's willpower begins to falter, until the rest of the Flash family arrives. Though depowered, they share their willpower with the Green Lantern, vastly increasing his ring's potential. During this, Green Arrow comes across the hourglass. He takes it, attaches it to one of his arrows, and fires. All at once, the process works, though it isn't perfect. A number of superheroes have their powers changed or switched with one another, while a few civilians around the world receive new powers for the very first time. Nevertheless, it is enough to change everything. In mere moments, the heroes destroy Task Force 7. Inside, Failsafe's power begins to drain too. Amanda cries out, pulling a gun on Nightwing in frustration and denial, but she is punched out by Dreamer, who had escaped the Fortress of Solitude using her powers. Oliver Queen explains to Batman that he had been an undercover agent all along. However, to accomplish this, the Martian Manhunter had altered his mind to make him a sincere believer in Amanda's cause. That way, no mind reader or other means of lie detection would work on him. It was only after an established period of time that Oliver would revert back to normal, at which point he began to covertly move against Amanda. Batman grumbles about being kept out of the loop on all of this, but the Martian Manhunter was captured early on by Waller's forces and was unable to inform the others about this plan. Also, he points out that Batman has no right complaining about keeping secrets from other superheroes. Underground, the heroes are barely able to keep the multiversal gate at bay. Superman tells Barry, who doesn't seem to be making much progress with the controls, to just destroy the gate before it's too late. Alan warns the others that this will cut them off from the multiverse permanently, but they have no choice. Upstairs, as Amanda Waller rants and raves about how she tricked the world, that victory belongs to her, Barry Allen destroys the gate. Nightwing is amused at this, calling Waller's speech a full-blown villain rant. At this point, he reveals that the superhero Airwave has actually been with them the entire time. He and Mr. Terrific recovered the young superhero's helmet, and since Airwave can transform entirely into radio wave signals, he just broadcast Amanda's rant to the entire world. With that, Amanda Waller's short-lived regime is toppled, and her lies are exposed to the public. It wasn't a clean victory, and the heroes are left with a lot of rebuilding to do, not only of the public trust, but of things like the Fortress of Solitude and the City of Kandor. Luckily, even within a couple of days, much work is done to restore and rebuild. The speedsters confirm with each other that the world now seems to be completely cut off from the multiverse. They are unsure if they will or can ever establish that connection again. And though everyone else's powers were restored, Barry's were apparently lost in the explosion that destroyed the gate. Amanda Waller wakes up to the news that the World Court has sentenced her to a lifetime imprisonment in a solitary cell. Ironically, she is to be held at the Belle Reve prison. Dreamer is there, taunting the woman, though Waller is dismissive of this situation. She flatly states she has enough knowledge to blackmail her way out of any prison. So Dreamer has a question for Amanda.
Where is the Batcave? What's Green Lantern's real name? Where did the Birds of Prey meet? Where is Booster Gold from?
Amanda, to her shock, can't remember a single answer to any of these, even though she knows she should be able to. Dreamer explains she's taken it all. Dreamer used Waller's dreams to find her family and ensure they are now safe, and then she locked away all of Amanda's secrets in her own mind. They aren't gone, but Waller's conscious brain will never be able to quite recall the exact details of anything. It will forever just be on the tip of her tongue. Dreamer believes that will feel like torture for a spy like Amanda, and feels that is fitting revenge for what Waller did to her and everyone else. As Dreamer leaves, the young woman taunts Waller with one more thing to torture herself over. One more question.
Do you think they put a bomb in your head?
At Mount Justice, the original headquarters of the Justice League, Oliver Queen is asked to meet with Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. Everyone feels like lecturing everyone else. All three members of the Trinity start by laying at least some of the blame for Waller's actions on Oliver. First, Superman points out that several superheroes were badly injured because of all of this, and Red Tornado might be beyond repair. Batman mentions the power theft was not without consequence, as several superheroes appear to be permanently altered. Wonder Woman suggests Oliver is lucky they don't break his arms right here and now. Undercover or not, Queen blindsided all of them and enables Waller by sharing some of their secrets. Oliver admits things did get out of control pretty quickly, and does apologize for that, but he is quick to point out all of this happened because there was no team to fall back on. Waller would have done all of this with or without him, she only failed because somebody was there on the inside to stop her. Queen went in alone because he was alone, needing to help his family, and there was no communication network for him to turn to other superheroes for help. Though he respects the Titans for filling in for them while the Justice League was broken up, breaking up the team to begin with was unforgivably irresponsible in his eyes. He tells the Trinity bluntly that they share as much of blame for all of this as he does, that they don't just need the Justice League back, they need to think bigger and better than ever. The heroes look at each other in a strange moment that confuses Oliver. They decide there's something they would like to show him, and Batman presents Oliver Queen with the holographic schematics for the new satellite headquarters of the Justice League.